You got to fish where the fish are at, and they're on social media. And Google is huge. Google Business Profile is one of the best things that any single business can do for their business. So data is there for every industry. I think, in my opinion, that is the #1 biggest improvement for most real estate agents, is to get a solid CRM, and not just get the CRM, but actually use the CRM.
Hello, RWorld. Welcome back to another episode of RWorldtalk. We are here this morning with Michael Tritthart. Michael is a #1 Amazon best-selling author, international tech instructor. He's based out of North Texas and has more than 20 years of experience in conducting educational workshops and small business training. He offers training, marketing tips, and consultation designed to improve your business. So listen up, kids, because we've got a great show for you this morning. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
So, Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself to get us kicked off here? What inspired you to get started in technology training, and what's continuing to sort of drive your passion for helping
absolutely. So I started training real estate agents back in 2001.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was a middle school and high school teacher and football coach in Texas.
Really?
So like completely
not
his
guy.
Not tech, and not the tech guy. I was like the complete opposite. I was the history coach, right? And, did Friday Night Lights for 6 years in Texas. It's real. It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, that must be awesome, especially in Texas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had an indoor, not a football field, but a practice facility, 70-yard indoor field that D1 coaches would come out and go, oh my gosh, like Baylor doesn't have that. K-State doesn't have. They would stop recruiting our kids and just start taking photographs of the facilities. Like, this is insane, right? And so I did that for about 6 years. And then my last year of teaching and coaching, I kind of sat down and averaged out my hourly rate. Because we were working 7 days a week, 110 hours a week.
And we know teachers aren't getting paid a ton.
No. So my hourly rate was 36 cents an hour. So I'm like,
that's not working.
No, I'm like, I'm out. My wife's like, I never see you. We're not having kids. I'm going to be a single parent, So got out of that in 2001, was fortunate to be hired by a local title company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, former teacher.
Okay.
She brought me in to create curriculum on the tech side for real estate agents and get them CE certified for the state of Texas. And I think I was either the first or second one to do that for technology.
Interesting.
And so we would travel and train all over DFW, did that for about 4 years. Then I joined a local brokerage in 2004. It's a national brand, Keller Williams. And so I joined the Plano office, and I had 330 agents in there, and I was the director of tech. And so I always kind of joke whenever I talk to any tech coordinators, I'm like, hey, is this your job description? Knock, knock, knock. You got a second? Just real fast. Just quick question, right? Which is kind of the description of anybody that's going to help real estate agents with tech.
Right.
And I started putting all that information on my website, making it accessible 24/7. Still to this day, anybody can go and access all these free tools that we've added over the years. But then the word got out. I was all through DFW doing some training. And then it was like, hey, can you come to Little Rock? Can you come to Florida? Can you come here, there, everywhere else? And I started doing that. And it got to a point where I was literally the worst employee on staff because I was never there.
Sure.
Right. And we just came to a mutual agreement that it was like, hey, it's time to go spread my wings. We'll support you. We'll help promote you. And, that brokerage and Keller Williams as a whole was very supportive of all of that. And so I was exclusive with Keller Williams for about 9 years, but now I travel and train anybody and everybody, not even within the real estate world, but any business vertical that's looking to build and grow their business with technology.
Well, our members are certainly happy that you did spread your wings and fly. I know that when I was president in 23, we had you come out at the Abbey Del Rey. You did an event for us. I was able to attend that event. I found it incredibly powerful. I think anybody in that room who put those tools in place that you would train them on is certainly doing better business now than they were before they had met you.
Yep.
So the feedback was incredible. Super happy that we were able to just have you past Friday morning at TechCon. So Thank you for coming back out.
Absolutely.
Really happy that we've got you here. So anybody who didn't go to your event in the past will hopefully get some tips out of you today that will spark their imagination and get them up and running. So your workshops have generated over 175,000 leads so far.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. Can you share with us what makes those workshops so effective and how
Sure.
attendees can really replicate that success.
Absolutely. So like what we did back in 23 is what I do in the vast majority of my sessions. It's tell, show, do. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Then we're going to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that really goes back again to my teaching background as being a history teacher. Like I walked into a school district, Allen Independent School District, high school teacher, and they're like, hey, we're the most progressive tech district, school district in Texas. You guys as teachers are going to learn how to build websites. You're going to learn how to do this. You're going to learn how to do that. And I'm in the room going, oh my gosh, this, I'm going to get fired in a year. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I learned very quickly with hands-on from the kids.
Right.
And so I think the combination of being a history educator and teaching tech really combines well because I know how to do research and I know that it has to be hands-on application. There's a lot of people that understand tech that can't speak, normal language to they would rather talk to a computer than talk to people. And so I think that's a really good mix. That's a really good opportunity for those that attend my sessions to start to apply it. So we have little miniature hands-on workshops in the vast majority of my sessions. And that's by far the most popular part of the sessions. People walk out empowered, like, I can do this.
Yeah, I love the hands-on aspect of your workshops because a lot of times you go to something and they say, okay, everybody put your phones down, put all your tech away.
Yeah.
You got to focus on what's going on here. But you actually had part of your session where people were encouraged, like, get on there right now and do what I'm telling you to do. So that way, when you leave here, it's not like, what was he talking about again? Like you're actually putting those things in motion.
And we record everything, and we have an opportunity for people to purchase the recording. So then they're like, okay, the things that I missed, I can go back and pick that up. But I want them engaged. Like I've had, and I tell everybody, when you come to this class, take the selfie, take the photograph, let people know that you're here doing this. I can't even count how many agents I've had that will post, hey, I'm at TechCon and just picked up some great info, or I'm getting ready to pick up some great info. And then somebody will pop in their post and go, oh, so now that you know how to use tech and real estate, you can list my house when I list it in a couple of weeks. And they're like, yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
That's why you're sitting your butt in that classroom, right?
Exactly. Don't be a secret agent, right? You got to be out there with tech. It can be a little scary because people are like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know where to say it, which platform, all of that information. It's a lot of the stuff that we cover in the classes.
Yeah, we've got some of our members. One of our big brokers is really pushing his team. Like, I haven't seen you on social media. You need to get out there and put yourself out on social media. And the guy's like, well, I don't like social media. He said, I don't care what you like or what you don't like.
Yeah.
You need to be out there and put yourself out there to the public. Let people know that you're actually still selling real estate.
You got to fish where the fish are at, right? And they're on social media.
Yeah, I love that you said that you were actually learning from the kids for the technology, because I think that's still true today. You want to learn how to use a piece of tech, like give it to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And they will tell you exactly how powerful that thing is. And what
Absolutely.
we've got some people that still don't know how to use anything like ChatGPT or any of the AI tools because they don't know how to talk to it.
Right.
And you have to have those prompts in order to get out of the system what you're trying to. Lead generation. Actually, before we get into lead generation, how do you approach training to make sure that your audience is not just learning how to do it, but they're actually motivated when they leave there to actually take action?
So I think the biggest part of training is telling stories, right? And you can just kind of read through the instructions, but that doesn't really resonate with people. When you actually share with them, hey, what I'm getting ready to share with you, I had somebody in New York get a $3.25 million listing in 10 days after application. They're like,
that's powerful.
Yeah, they're leaning in going, no, what?
Tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. Had another one get an extra $500,000 to their bottom line in 1 year after application of the tools, right? So when you start sharing the stories and sharing the examples that have happened in other classes, that's when you get that engagement, because it can be very dry if you just go in and read from the screen or read from that. And I think that goes again back to my educational background. You have to learn to tell stories that keeps people engaged.
Yeah, the story is what really resonates in your brain and something that you can keep on to and remember. Because if you're just standing there listening to somebody talking to you from a lectern, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Let's go through these bullet points, and people are like, I'm out after 2. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. So
You even raise your voice quite a bit when you're doing your presentations. Like, hey, shocker, you need to listen to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get fired up. It's the football coach in me, right? It's like, let's go do some 40s.
Exactly. So on lead generation, it's obviously a huge focus in your work. It should be for every realtor. That's the name of the game. You need to generate the lead. So what's one of the most innovative techniques that you've seen so far for generating high quality leads? Because I mean, anybody can go and pay a lead supplier, however many dollars you're willing to dump at it. But I find that a lot of what you're paying for just turns out to be straight garbage.
Oh yeah.
So you're spinning your wheels and you're calling these people over and over and over again. They've got no intent to buy this year, next year, maybe ever. So how do you really generate those high quality leads?
Yeah. So in my sessions, we never discuss paid leads. Like it's just not on the table.
Amen.
I'm not going to train you on that. I don't even want you to do that. I want you to do the free stuff. I want you to do the easy stuff because there's tons and tons of opportunities that are out there.
Sure.
So to answer your question, it's like a multi-prong attack. I mean, Google is huge. Google Business Profile is one of the best things that any single business can do for their business.
Put you on a map.
It's completely free. Put you on the map. People can write reviews. They see the photographs of your business. You can add photographs and reviews on a regular basis. And everybody says, well, how much? As much as you possibly can, right? And people are going to resonate with that. That's what got the agent in New York the $3.2 million listing in 10 days. She had never used Google. She applied it. 10 days later, first lead off of Google was that listing.
How many times have you ever bought something off Amazon that only had a 2-star review?
Oh, exactly. Or you want to risk your life by going to a restaurant that has a 1.9 review? You're like, nobody's doing that, right?
Don't eat the blowfish.
Yeah, exactly. And then if they see, well, they got 5 stars, but it's 2 reviews, everybody's like, oh, mom and dad wrote you a review. Must have been a good kid,
Exactly.
So it's the totality of it all, right? And it's the quality of it all. So that's huge. Video is always huge. And what's interesting, especially within the last 3 or 4 years, and I would even say even the last 2 years, YouTube's been out there forever. I just got a notification that my YouTube channel turned 15 years old yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like,
I didn't even know YouTube was 15 years old.
right? I was like, wow, man, I'm getting freaking old. And so what's interesting though, in the last 2 years, as the market conditions have shifted, agents have finally started to realize they got to have a YouTube channel. They got to start feeding some content into that. So I find that really fascinating that people are gravitating back toward that. But Instagram, TikTok, for those that are comfortable with TikTok, those are always great lead generation tools. One of the best lead generation tools out there. I mean, it doesn't always have to be the newest tech. LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the oldest social media profile system out there, 2003. I had somebody attend one of my sessions, apply the techniques. They went from 0 clients, brand new agent, 0 clients to 36 active clients in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Just by using LinkedIn.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever thinks about using LinkedIn for
That's what I'm saying, right? And it's like, oh, I never even knew I could do that.
Interesting.
It's amazing. And one of those leads that she got, it's a gentleman who owns a company, one of 3 companies contracted with the U.S. government to help military service members relocate to anywhere in the United States. She got
Gold mine.
Yeah, she got this over 10 years ago. She averages 5 to 10 leads a week. Well, she's in North Texas, and she comes into one of my classes last year, and she's like, "Remember me?" I'm like, "Remember you? You're in one of my classes." She's like, "I am." And I go through the whole spiel that I share in my classes. I'm like, "Did I nail it?" She goes, 100%. And I was like, "Do you still work with that company?" She goes, huge smile. Oh yeah. She still gets 5 to 10 a week.
Wow.
Over the
course of 10 years.
It changed her life. She was 2 months away from being out of real estate. Like when I first met with her, she was crying. Like, I have 0 leads.
I can't do this.
I can't do this.
Yeah,
This is the make or break moment.
Yeah.
And then we walked through the techniques that I told her to do for LinkedIn, and she did them. Now that's the key. You can set in TechCon, you can set in classes, you can sit here and like soak it all in. But if you don't apply it, it doesn't matter. That's the football coach in me. Like, I can show you this play on the whiteboard 10 times.
But if you run left instead of running right, we're going to get to the end.
Exactly. Until you go get smacked around a little bit and understand what you've got to do, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
But she did it, to her credit, and 3 weeks later, she had 36 active clients.
So let me ask you something about video, just because you touched on that. And this is just your personal opinion, because it's all over the spectrum. We've had many people that we've talked about video and sort of who you should be when you're putting yourself out there on video. If it's, should you be throwing on a suit if you're not the kind of person that typically would be wearing a suit, or should you be yourself? I think it was 2 years ago when we had TechCon, one of our guests that we had on the panel, this guy's always in like, Jimmy Buffett gear with the flip-flops, doing his YouTube videos, wildly successful. So do you think that it's more important for your online presence to really be the person who you truly are, or should you be putting on a more professional appearance?
So if you are going to go in and put on airs, people are going to see right through it.
Okay.
Right? You need to be you. And that's if you got a Texas drawl, right?
Right.
If you got some type of slang language, whatever, or if you wear Jimmy Buffett shirts or you do whatever you want to do, if you're you, people will resonate with that. Because in my opinion, if you go in and try to fake it, they're going to see right through it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So just be you.
You guys heard it right there. This is probably the 5th time that we've gone over this, but just be yourself. I mean, you're trying to connect with a client. You're trying to connect with one of your customers, buyer, seller, whoever it may be. They are hiring you because of you. And if you show up as one person for the interview and then they realize the following day when you're out looking at properties that that is not the person who they just met, they're not liking you for who you are. And that's really going to affect the outcome of what it is that you're trying to do. So why don't you walk us through your process when you're working with a new client? How do you identify their needs and tailor the solution that you're...
So I have a training team and I have a website design team, right?
Okay.
And so we are full-time with that. But one of the things that I like to do, there's a book called The One Thing, and I'm a One Thing instructor, and it's been out for, I think, like 12, 13 years now. And I teach this in all my classes. And I tell the real estate agents, use this with your buyers and your sellers. Hey, Mr. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what is the one thing that you want in this home purchase? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is the one thing you want to accomplish in selling your home? Most people are going to go, well, they want the highest amount possible. What if they're getting a divorce and it's contentious? They're like, no, I just want this over with, right? I want out.
And that happens.
Oh, it totally happens.
I don't care about the price. Just get me away from this person.
I'm done. Like, cut bait, let's go, right? And so you need to ask those questions because you will get through all the nonsense real quick when you ask people that. And so that's what we do when we're working through them with a consultation. Like I have a coaching program, right? What is the one thing you want to achieve from this coaching program? And we get through all the noise and we get right to the meat of it. And I think
the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell everybody, use this with your kids too, right? So when my kids were younger, elementary, middle school, you do the same thing. You pick them up. Hey, what'd you learn today? Nothing. What'd you do today? I don't know, right? Because you're asking an open-ended, you're asking an open-ended question, right? But then
We want to talk to you.
no, because they're like, well, they're trying to multitask in their head, like, oh my, we did so much, but what am I supposed to say?
Right.
And so we would rephrase and we would say, hey, Ava, what's one thing you ate at lunch today? Oh, I had pizza. Okay, what was one thing you did at recess? Oh, we did this. Okay, what was one thing you learned in math? Oh, I learned this. And then in English, we did this. It just opens up conversation because when we try to have humans multitask, it's a multi-fail. And so we use that a lot in our coaching. I use that a lot in the training sessions. That's why we have multiple workshops. It's like, let's be in the moment for this topic. Let's go do this right here, right now, versus trying to do it later.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. What role does data play in enhancing new business, and how do you think agents can better use data with their? I mean, it's a digital world that
Exactly.
now.
Well, data is the number one industry in the whole wide world. We know that. Like every company is using data against you.
Yep.
I joke in my classes that your phone is not a phone; it's an ankle monitoring device. They know what you're doing, where you're doing it, how you're doing it,
And it's creepy as hell.
It's creepy, right? It's like I just thought it, I didn't write it, I didn't say it, and it's in the news feeds. The cars that you drive, they're not cars; they're computers with 4 wheels that just get you from place to place, and everywhere you go is being tracked. So data is there for every industry. Real estate agents need to be using that. I think, in my opinion, that is the number one biggest improvement for most real estate agents is to get a solid CRM, and not just get the CRM, but actually use the CRM. Right. That's another.
I offer a free CRM to every single one of my agents. If you ask them how many of them are actually using the CRM for their business,
They run for the hills.
you just want to choke them up.
Yeah. And I get it, right? Because most agents are, they're that high I type of personality that wants to work the room and they want to sell and they want to love everyone and they want to talk to them and all. I get it. And setting down and working a database is like a root canal to them. Like, they do not want to do this.
Right.
So leverage, right? Find somebody on your team, a virtual assistant or somebody else that can help you to manage that. And I think what's made that much easier for agents and assistants to do all of that is programs like ChatGPT and other AI programs, because you can create a 25 touch campaign for sellers, right? And
Should people be putting somebody on a drip campaign on through their CRM and just let that thing ride and wait for the phone to ring?
sure. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like put them on the drip campaign, but don't sit back and start kicking back, going, "Okay, I'm done."
Yeah.
You need to be out there hustling at the same time. You need to be, networking. You need to be doing what you can to build and grow a business. But
Right.
it's a multi-pronged attack that if I can have a lot of this stuff already set up and it just kind of runs, that's huge. That's huge because you
Yeah.
got to be top of mind.
And that should be backing up your other efforts. Like you said, you still have to be networking and hustle
Oh,
up
yeah.
business because you want to grow that database, number one. But at the same time, you also want to follow up with that database, not just with canned newsletters. You got to pick up the phone once in a while and call these people and
Gotta talk to
remind
humans.
them
Yeah.
that, or ask them for the business. Hey,
Yeah.
do you know anybody that's looking to sell? If it's not going to be you, you got a neighbor that's looking at moving. Try to get in contact with those people.
Yeah, I share this all the time in class. The most powerful the most powerful question you can ask people is, "Who do you know?" Right? It's not like, "Are you interested?" It's,
Right.
"Who do you know?" Now that you turn them into an advocate, they're looking out for you,
Right.
right? And that's a huge thing. And so combining that with the database, it's always a win.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, I sold all my listings. You know anybody that's looking to sell? Because I've got nothing on the market right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you've worked with countless real estate professionals. Obviously, you've we already said generated 175,000 leads. So what trends are you seeing in the digital marketing space, and where do you think the industry's heading in that regard?
So it's going to be fascinating. I think we're on the cusp of a very interesting time with AI as a whole, not just ChatGPT, but everything. It's going to be a game changer, and it's going to be not always a game changer in a good way. There's, when I talk about tech, I always say it's creepy, awesome, weird, amazing, scary, and
All of that.
all of that.
Yeah.
And just kind of depends on when you're using it and what you're doing, type
Yeah.
of stuff.
There's also a liability aspect.
Absolutely. It was fascinating because I was at a conference. And a lot of instructors, I was doing one on day 2. So day 1, I kind of listened to everybody. And it was funny because a lot of the instructors were like, "Okay, you can create your avatar with AI and you can have them say this and you can have them do that. And it's awesome. And I'm doing it." And then I go into the other classes that were ran by the lawyers and they're like, "Oh my gosh, whatever you do, don't do that with avatars." Offsite.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in this Wild West moment of AI. And we were there years ago with drones, right? And it kind of got regulated. And now everybody who wants to do drone, you kind of have to have somebody do it for you, where it used to be you can just go kind of do it yourself and all that other type of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that progresses. Now, I think as we all know this in the real estate industry, technology is always gunning for the real estate agent. They're always
Absolutely.
looking to replace the
It's always
it's companies, new startups, they're always looking to try to replace the
this is
agent.
the industry of disruption.
Exactly. But the one key element of that is the human touch that the agents cannot lose, right? They have to use the tech to stay competitive.
Right.
But we also still have to use our human touch and talk to our people and love on our people and
It's
show that
relationship
Yes, it
business.
is. I mean, you work with who you know and who you like and who you trust versus an AI system. Nobody's going to feel comfortable with that. Not for another couple generations, not until our kids who have grown up on AI, right? We'll go hire the robot real estate agent to come and show them property, right?
That's going to be a strange time when we get to know our kids and see that generation that did grow up with AI. I just it kind of boggles my mind because you're seeing a lot of stuff with AI that somebody showed me a video the other day, and I thought, my God, I can't believe that they said that. But
Yeah.
it said AI generated at the bottom. So this video was so true to life and looked. You could have sworn that it was the person and that's the words coming out of their mouth, but it was not. And that stuff really scares me.
Yes, we saw a lot. We saw a lot in the past election, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of fake videos, fake photos coming out. And my son's 22. My daughter's gonna be 18 this year. Kind of joke, give them a hard time, like they don't know how to read cursive, right?
It's weird to me.
Yeah, they didn't teach it,
No.
and now it's back.
I was just gonna say I heard it's coming back.
Yeah, but there's a whole generation that does not know how to read cursive, and I'm a former teacher, right? So I'm sitting here going, well, why would they do this? And here we are we're gonna chase a little conspiracy rabbit for a second. I'm like, why would you do this? Well, what are the laws of this land written in?
Cursive.
Well, they're cursive, so they can't read the Constitution, they can't read the Declaration of Independence. So we'll just let AI tell you what's in those 2 items, right? And that's the scary thing. And I'm not saying just those 2 documents. I'm saying books in general, right?
Right.
AI is going to be the educator of our kids and our kids' kids, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So I always caution the agents when we talk about artificial intelligence to not let it replace you,
Right.
the human touch, but also the human brain.
Sure.
Right. And yeah, it's for your kids and it's for everything. But it's
It's
kind
an
of fun.
incredible assistive tool.
Exactly. Like when we're talking to kids about AI in school, it's like, that's cheating. Well, when we're talking to a bunch of real estate agents at TechCon about AI, they're like, that's business efficiency. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, right.
Just couple years. That's
That's
about
it.
it. Yeah. So don't let it replace the human touch.
Got it. Okay, so what's the one piece of advice that you would give to businesses looking to elevate their digital strategy in the next year?
It's always about taking action, right? You got to have that plan and you got to implement that plan, because I don't know how many times I've seen businesses, I've seen agents, teams, whatever. They're just in that fix it mode, or as we say in Texas, fixing. We're fixing to get it done.
Fixing.
Yeah, we're going to get it all laid out, then we're going to implement. Well, by that time, you've been passed up by so many other competitors that you're getting lapped, right?
And the technology's already changed.
The tech has already changed. You're losing ground. You've just got to implement. It's almost like build the plane in the air type situation.
Okay.
You're going to tweak it. You're going to modify it. The first things you put out there, you're going to look back later going, I can't believe we did that. That's horrible.
But just get it out there.
But just get it
Change
out
as
there.
you go.
Yeah, because you got to have your brand out there. And that's a key part too with Google Business Profile. As I tell the agents, like, Google search yourself. Look at all the other companies that are out there glomming onto your brand, trying to get a lead from you with your name, right? That maybe they'll try to resell back to you. You need to start building your brand immediately. You need to start talking to your people. You need to start getting out there on social media. I mean, again, it's videos, it's Google, it's a little bit of everything. You just got to go. You got to do it, and then you'll fix it and make it better later.
So I believe in your session, and I'm going back to TechCon. It wasn't TechCon.
23
event that you did in 23. I remember you talking about like neighborhood pages and stuff that's all
Community focus.
your community focused. So
Yeah.
why don't you touch on that and just give us a freebie tip here?
Yeah. So I'm going to give a shout out to an agent in Idaho Falls, Jessica Cardin, right? And she's been to many of my classes, and she's a friend. She's awesome. One of the best agents in Idaho Falls. She was in my class years ago, and we were talking about video. And as a teacher, you can always kind of see when the light bulb clicks and turns on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about video and community focused type of stuff. And she was just like, oh, yeah. Well, soon thereafter, she went out and created the Nosy Neighbors, KNOWSY Neighbors.
Okay.
Like the Nosy Neighbors.
That's clever.
Yeah. And so she goes out and she interviews all the small businesses in Idaho Falls, right? They have closed over, I think, 200 transactions in like the last 5 years that are all related back to the videos, and like 197,000 population town.
Wow.
I mean, they have become local celebrities. She's like, people stop us in the grocery store to take a selfie. They're like, oh my gosh, Nosy Neighbor.
Really?
Yeah. But if you can go in and really hone in on your community, even if it's non-tech mixed with tech, you're going to win. You're going to win all day long. So community is always a big plus. And I think that's a big mind shift for a lot of agents that want to move away from paid ads and paid leads to actually getting out there with your people. It's a little bit more effort, but I think the payoff is 10 times higher.
Yeah, big time. Well, it's a relationship business. So if you're out there giving the public something that they need to know for free,
yeah,
and they know that you are the trusted resource because you know every business owner in town, you know all the hot spots, you know the new restaurants that opened up, why wouldn't they think that you'd be the best person?
You're the go-to. You know everything about this town. I interviewed Chris, the sports bar owner, and we heard from him about how his sports bar is different. Here's the meals that they offer and everything else. My gosh, why not use whoever is going to be, interviewing Chris or anybody else? I just had a coaching call with somebody last week who's the mayor of a local town in North Texas, who's also a real estate agent.
Okay.
And so he's going to do like Mr. Mayor Know-It-All or, something like that. He's going to riff off of that. And that's the thing. And I think Jessica would agree with this, like R&D, what they do, rip off and duplicate.
100%.
Because that's what the name of the game is.
She's selling in Idaho Falls. She's not selling down in Fort Lauderdale. Might as well.
Exactly. And I'm going to put my spin on it. She doesn't have a beach. We got a beach, right? I'm going to do the whole beach thing. That type of thing. It's make it local, make it community focused, and you're going to win. You're going to win all day.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Michael, we usually end this podcast with asking people about what their little South Florida hidden gem is. I'm guessing because you are from Texas, not South Florida, that you don't have a South Florida hidden gem to share with everybody. But what about if you've got one podcast that you follow or book that you think would be beneficial for the realtors that are listening, or anybody who's listening right now, because we actually have a lot of clients that listen to this as well.
Sure.
Is there anything that you could point them to that you think would help them out?
Well, again, it's a book that's been out for about 13 years, but if you've not read or listened to The One Thing, I highly recommend that. I've listened to it about 3 or 4 times. Every time I listen to it, I pick up something new. And what's kind of cool about it too is when it first came out, I was like, oh, I was already doing that. So it just kind of reinforced, amplified what I was already doing. I was like, okay, I'm on the right track with that.
The One Thing.
The One Thing is written by Gary Keller, Jay Papasan. It's not a Keller Williams book. It's a book for everybody. Right. Highly recommend that. And then in terms of podcast, I mean, I'm just listening to non-real estate podcasts, but just, just educational
Entertainment.
Yeah, get some entertainment.
Yeah.
It's where I get my news.
Sure.
Right. So stuff like that. I'm kind of all over the board with that. But
yeah, I usually bounce back and forth when I'm at the gym in the morning. I'll start listening to something real estate related, and then I'm like, you know what? I've got a lot to do today in real estate, so I really don't feel like listening to this anymore. So I'll jump over to something else.
Well, when I was a football coach, it was kind of funny because people were like, oh, that must have been awesome. Well, I was like, it was, but I hated watching football, right? Because we would coach it. You would then watch tape from practice. You would then watch tape of the game. You would then cut it up on Sunday. Then you would watch tape for the other team.
Right.
Actually, we'd cut it up on a Saturday. Then we'd watch tape of the other opposing team coming in on a Sunday. And then I'd go home and football would be on, college football or NFL, and be like, oh my gosh, that's the last thing I want to see. It's just like, this is like going to work again. You're right. So I like to do some things that are kind of outside of the industry just to kind of clear the mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So for everybody who's listening here, thank you guys for being with us today. Tritthart.com. When I asked him how to say his name, he said it's like Travis Tritt with Hart at the end.
There you go.
So Tritthart, michaeltritthart.com. If you want to get tips and tricks on how you can make yourself more social online and really get some insights on how to boost your business and get those organic leads coming your way. Next time you see that he is going to be speaking at one of our RWorld events, make sure you get your tickets early because they do always sell out. And if you missed him at TechCon, I'm sorry that you missed him at TechCon, but go to michaeltritthart.com and you can sign up there for your own private coaching, have an event in your office, whatever the case may be. But that being said, Michael, thank you for being with us here today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being with us at TechCon, and we will see you guys right back here next Friday, 8 a.m. on RWorldTalk.